Hello everyone, FPL Raptor here and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. In today's video we're going to spend about half an hour waffling about the free hit chip. So if you enjoyed today's video, please make sure to smash that like button, and if you're new around here, make sure to subscribe as well. Without further ado, let's jump into it.
Yes.
Meow, 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 meow. Yeah, now you feel awkward.
No, it's not awkward. It's just like I need to. I was so focused on making sure you got the intro right.
No, you don't know what to say now.
So guys, the video you have been waiting for a very long time. I've finally convinced my girlfriend, FPL Pickle, to finally come on the channel. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
This is an exciting one. If you are watching right now and you're thinking, who the hell is FPL Pickle? Why are you calling your girlfriend FPL Pickle? This isn't one of those videos, you know, where you're like, oh, my girlfriend's going to pick out my team and she's never heard of the players and then she's just picking out all sorts of random... Well, I hope that's not what today's going to be.
No, I'm not making any promises, I'm not going to lie.
But no, FPL Pickle, my girlfriend, has been playing... I've said my girlfriend. I have a girlfriend, you know. She exists in real life. No, but she's a very serious FPL manager and honestly better than me. So if you are active on social media and on Twitter, give FPL Pickle a follow. I will link her down below in the description. Nice little cheeky shout out.
That's very kind of you.
No, that's fine. But as you can see on the screen, her previous two ranks are 1.9k last year, and this year she's 1.5k. So that is, at the moment, back-to-back top 2k finishes. We don't know if you will finish there. Yeah. Last week you were up at 888. So we're having a bit of a stinking game week.
Yeah, was to be expected though.
So a lot of the questions that come in, and I've just put two examples because, oh my lord, there were a lot of them. Oh. How does it feel being a better FPL manager than FPL Raptor? And do you enjoy the irony that you consistently do better in FPL than your FPL YouTuber boyfriend?
Well, I would be lying if I said I didn't enjoy it. It's kind of funny, but you inspired a lot of the ways that I play, so... I can only thank you for that. But so, it is quite funny, to be honest.
So this is as much my achievement as it is yours?
I wouldn't go that far, but especially because I don't really watch your videos anymore.
Okay, just catching strays already. No, I love it that some people are like, oh yeah, it's very obviously your second team. If I could do it with a second team, I would be doing it with I'd be doing it with my main team.
This is true.
Let me tell you that much. But no, it is incredible that you've done so well. We're going to discuss why in a bit. And I think it'll be interesting because I think it's a bit of a breath of fresh air in terms of how you approach the game. Yeah. This is the nicest I've ever been to you. You're just roasting me and I'm being very nice.
Sorry,
do you know what I won't be nice about? Is how many times that intro took. You might think, oh, that was a really good intro. It felt so professional. It was better than FPL Raptors. We have got... I mean, I'm looking at the number of attempts here and we deleted about, I reckon, 15, 16 attempts.
You act like you don't take about 20 minutes to do your
Moving
intro.
on, so the next question. So we're doing a bit of a Q&A just to warm Pickle up into the video and then we're going to discuss her draft. So if you're like, I don't care about this, I just want to see her draft and copy her, that will be in the next section. How did you both meet? Did you want me to tell this story or do you want to tell the story?
You can go ahead. I would like to hear your side of the story.
So, if someone tells you that FPL can't find you true love, just listen to this. So, obviously on my live streams, I'm always interacting with the chat. I saw FPL Pickle, who was going by a real name at that stage, in the chat. And she was typing in the chat and I was like, I think I asked the question. Someone was like, yeah, but I bet no girls watch your content. And I was like, I bet there are definitely girls that watch my content. So I put out to the chat, I was like, are there anyone watching right now that is female? And do you know who said yes? My nan, my mum, my sister, Claudette, and FPL Pickle as well. And obviously that's quite rare because I think 99.5% of people watch these videos are men. But also I had noticed that someone rather attractive by the same name had followed me on Instagram recently. And again, it is quite noticeable when an attractive girl follows you on Instagram because not many of that doesn't happen very often in terms of my Instagram followers. No offense if you do follow me on Instagram. So I put two and two together. And what did I do?
You slid into my DMs.
I slid into the DMs and I just used a little bit of that YouTuber charm. But really, then we hit it off immediately. And we had a lot in common. And obviously, it's pretty cool that you can always bounce back to FPL if you have something that you want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, it occupies the vast majority of our conversations these days, especially at the moment with all the chips and whatnot.
Yeah, probably too much. Right, so this is your chance. I'll let you go. Do you know, I haven't actually planned an answer to this question. What annoys you the most about each other? Spill the tea, please.
Ooh. Well, there's not a lot that annoys me about you. The one thing I will say, though, is that if something doesn't go his way, FPL-wise, it will ruin the entire day. He will be moody for the entire day.
For the entire day?
Yeah, like you are in such a bad mood for the entire day.
No.
I might be grumpy for a little bit, but I get over it. Sometimes. Unless it's bench jam, and then I get really angry.
I was going to say, the thing that annoys me most about you, and I love that these are both FPL things, this could have been anything if it's FPL based, is that you think that you never get lucky and only get unlucky.
Really?
You're always like, look how unlucky I got, and then there'll be a week where you got like a 40-point green arrow and you're like, I'm the best.
That's true.
It's just like, I'm the best. So that would be, there are other things as well, but this isn't FPL therapy. Oh my God, therapy. We could do couples therapy at some point. By the way, if you want to see FPL Pickle make her own YouTube channel, let us know down below because I'm trying to convince her to. Or if you want to see her come back in the future, maybe you don't, but let us know down below in the comments.
Rude.
Next question then is more about your FPL management style. So we're saying that you're at 1.9k last year, which is better than my best ever rank, and you're now at 1.5k, definitely gonna probably once again beat my best ever rank 2 years in a row. So how do you make decisions? Like stats, vibes, how much football do you watch? What goes into FPL decision making for you?
Well, I'd say it's a mix of quite a few things. I do use...
You're not sneaking off camera.
Sorry.
She's a bit shy, but also just like, it makes it like a smell. There you go.
I think... No. Anyway. I would say that I use a mix of things. So I do use stats, but I don't over-rely on stats like some people do.
Why am I catching so many strays?
But I also go with my gut a lot of the time.
Okay, so let's say like you've got a player to transfer in. What's the first thing that happens for you? Like, is it match of the day? Is it you're based off previous points? Is it underlying data? Like, if you had to say one thing.
One thing. That's really
I think you're
hard.
very gut feeling based.
I am gut feeling based a lot of the time. But I do use everything. Like, I do use data. I mean, I don't go as into depth with it, but I look at XGI and
Do you know what I
whatnot.
think you look at more from like I think you look at a lot of team data, which I probably don't do as much, but you'll come to me and say this team's playing much better at home, or this team's conceded 8 penalties this season. Like, and then off that, you'll say, well, if this team's playing well at home and this team's conceding, then I'll go for this player.
I do tend to do that. I look at home and away data a lot, and I do look at what teams have conceded the most pens. Because if I have a player that's going against that team, then
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy about that. Or I'll target a player that's, playing that team because of that.
We watch a lot of football though as well. Probably too much football. Like one of the things that I always say about dating someone that loves FPL, like you'd think if you're a guy watching this, you're probably like, this is the dream, and it is amazing. But she obviously is such an FPL nerd and loves football, and it's my job. So sometimes if I've spent all day streaming and I've also recorded a video and I've also planned for FPL therapy, like sometimes I can spend 10 hours a day doing FPL. And then she'll FaceTime me and she'll be like, yeah, so I'm planning on bringing this player. And it's just like, yeah, actually, I just don't want to talk about FPL. But it's also the same with football. Like sometimes after a 3-hour live stream, I don't want to watch a football match, which sounds crazy, I know. But then you'll be like, no, but Villa are playing. I really want to watch it. And obviously she is a Villa fan if you don't know. So you do watch a lot of football as well.
I do try to watch as much as I can. I mean, I don't have Sky Sports or whatever, so that doesn't help.
Yeah,
but...
so just you're improving the way that you watch football as well. I've been teaching Pickle about like positions on the pitch, and she came to me the other day and said something about, are they playing as a 10 or as a 9? And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. That's perfect.
I'm getting better at that, but I'd say that's my weakness, I'll be honest.
Yeah, but
we're
that comes with time for sure. So there was another question linked to that, and it maybe links to how you make decisions. But if you have 2 players that seem really close, but you need to bench one of them, how do you decide?
That one's based on gut feeling a lot of the time.
And why is your gut always right? It really annoys me. You get benching decisions right like 90% of the time.
My favourite moment of the season is when Villa were playing Man City at home, and everyone had Rodgers, but everyone benched him. And I just thought he's gonna want to do well against them. I think I felt like he wanted to prove a point,
He's a big game
against
player
them.
as well, yeah.
And so I had such a good feeling about him. So I started him even though no one else did. And he got a goal and an assist, I think. I think it was a 14-pointer.
It was 14 points in, because you know what? I benched him, yeah. And by the way, if you're wondering why Asensio's on the screen, that was just me roasting Pickle because she had Asensio on her bench boost for game 32 when he missed 2 penalties.
Oh, he's
been pretty rubbish in 33 as well, in all honesty.
Pen miss as well. That was a shocking time for me. And this week's been shocking as well. Asensio could have hauled her as well. But
Yeah. So just to finish off, 2 more questions. How do you like your egg in the morning? We had eggs this morning.
We did have eggs this morning, although that was not my favourite kind of egg. You're my favourite kind of egg.
What did you say the other day? It's like Easter every day with you or something, which is nice. So yes, I'm an egg. How shiny is my head in person?
Oh, I like scrambled, by the way. Just to answer the question.
We've moved on from that. You didn't give that. You didn't give that answer at the time. How shiny is Ross's head in person?
Wouldn't you like to know?
There we go.
Do you wanna reveal?
No, I don't want to reveal my egg. This is not time. This is not the time to get the egg out. So, if you want to ask Pickle more questions, do so in the comments. I'm sure Pickle will go through and answer some more.
Yeah,
but hopefully that has been useful. I don't feel like you've got to know Pickle at all there. But Pickle is also an Aston Villa fan, which is important to know, I suppose. But yeah, if you have any more questions, let us know. And we will now move on to the part you're probably really here for, which is our free hit team. So, moving on to Pickle's free hit team. If you skip the first section, shame on you. But just to recap, Pickle's very good at FPL. She roasts me constantly, and she is currently 1.5k at the time of recording, and of course does have her free hit active. So we're going to go through some of the other players that you're considering. This is just early thoughts. Do not hold Pickle accountable if she doesn't go with this exact team. She is definitely entitled to change her mind. And I want to say that because something that I don't think people realise, and you'll probably feel this now doing this video, is as content creators, when we say we like a player or don't like a player, at the start of a week, we then feel very much like we have to stick to that player or stick to that opinion. So I reckon you'll probably say you like a player here, and then in a couple of days you'll think, I kind of want to take that player out.
Yeah,
and then you'll think, but on the video I said that I like them. So please feel free to obviously change your mind. Something that I noticed straight away is 9.2 million in the bank. I mean, you've got great team value, but it does show that there aren't that many expensive assets we want on free hit.
No, and you'll see as we get further along that there's a certain asset that I don't have in this draft that, I don't know, he's not really been doing that well recently. So
cool. Right, so we'll start with the goalkeepers as always. Sanchez sells. How do you feel right now about the goalkeepers?
I'll be honest, out of all of the spots that I have in my team, the goalkeeper position is the one that I'm least sure about. At first I'd Sells, and I know that Mbeumo's just scored an 18-pointer, and he's on my bench, as you can probably see. But I have a feeling that Forest are going to do well this week. They're good at home, and I don't know, I'd never get Sells' hauls, so I thought about it, but Sanchez is in my team at the moment, and that's because they're better at home, I believe, defensively.
Yeah, Forest are better at home, and we know that Brentford are better at home themselves. So in terms of like a matchup, like you could very much see this being like 1-0 Forest, and Sells normally hauls if that's the case. I just think, so I presented a stat on my free, if you've not seen my free hit draft after this one, go watch that. But I presented a stat that across the last 10 game weeks, Forest are 15th or 16th for XGC in the league. So in the last 10, they've definitely dropped off, and you can see that with their form. They just don't look quite as resolute. But as you say, slightly better at home. There aren't tons of great goalkeepers to choose from. Sells does make a lot of saves, and I feel like if you've got Brian Mbeumo on the bench, maybe you fully back that Mbeumo's not going to smash it and go for a Forest. Because at the moment, you're not backing Mbeumo, but you're not backing the Forest defence.
No, exactly. I've got nobody in that game, essentially, which could be a mistake. But yeah, I'm not sure. I've changed my mind for now, and I've put Sanchez in because, Everton's attack's just not... They just don't really produce much. So I feel that Sanchez is likely to get a clean sheet, although he is the type that doesn't make that many saves sometimes, but will concede the one goal. But I'm not overly... if that's the one position where I'm not overly confident right now, and it's the one that could change, but I've got Sanchez in there for now, and I think I'll keep it like that for now.
There was that little spell when Beto was just the greatest forward we've ever seen in the Premier League, and he was scoring goals for fun. And but since then, Everton have struggled a little bit, and they've just dropped off. And I think Chelsea's defence is underrated. So you told me, and it's why I looked into data, is like I think Chelsea are better at home. So I looked into it. Chelsea are much better at home. They're 4th this season for expected goals conceded at home. and 12th away from home. So Chelsea are better at home. Everton aren't the best attack. When you look at the other options that you have, like you're back in Fulham, who defensively have dropped off, as we'll discuss. You've got Wolves. You've got other Newcastle assets that you want to own. Nottingham Forest haven't looked great defensively. I don't hate the idea of a Chelsea defender. I mean, you've got Cucurella on your bench as well.
Yeah.
So if you don't have Sanchez and you switch Sanchez, you could even move to Cucurella, I suppose.
Yeah, that's something that I'm considering. I guess that's why they're there for now.
Exactly. Right, let's discuss. We'll start with the one that's different from my draft. So you've got Sessegnon in your team. I had Leno. Talk to me about Sessegnon. You're very excited about it. And by the way, we should note that you had Sessegnon in your team before the 11 or 12 pointer that you got today.
I did. And I was trying to explain to Ross earlier before that game that Sessegnon was not meant to come off in the previous game.
Yeah, I didn't realise this.
So a lot of people were saying, oh, he's a minute's risk. And he still is a minute's risk, but that game, who was it against again?
I don't know.
I forgot.
It was...
That's bad. I should know.
Was it in 32?
Yes.
Bournemouth.
So he came off, but he wasn't meant to come off. There was miscommunication between the officials and the manager. And when Silva noticed that Sessegnon was coming off, he tried to get him back on the pitch, but the officials were like, no, it's too late now. So he had to go to the bench, essentially. I think Lukic was meant to come on.
Okay.
Come off. I don't know what I'm saying now. But anyway, he was not meant to come off. So that happened, and he was on for 78 minutes today, I believe.
Yeah, so I was just looking at, so he 81 minutes against Liverpool, 56 against Bournemouth, but we're saying he was probably meant to stay on, and then 78 today. Yes, before that, he was benched for 3 games in a row, but you have to imagine that his minutes might be good. The only slight concern I've got with Sessegnon is Harry Wilson's now back fit, who actually came on for Sessegnon today.
Yeah.
SofaScore did say he went off injured, but most people suggested he went down injured, played on for a little bit, and then went off, but they don't think that the events were related. But with Wilson back, who's more of a natural right winger, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, this is the thing. It depends on... I mean, we'll have to wait for press conferences, but a defender, a 4.1 million defender on the right wing, it's just... And he got an assist today as well, so that kind of confirmed what I was thinking. So
it's probably worth the risk. It's high risk, high reward. Like, you could just go Anthony Robinson, who will start, but less attacking threat. You could go for another team. But if he does start on the right wing again against one of the worst defences in the league, also one of the worst attacks in the league, you could be looking at another double-digit haul.
Yeah, I think just on a free hit, you want to attack a little bit, and that's, a way that I wanted to try and attack.
Nice and easy with the other two, 8 Nuri, Livramento. You probably want at least one Wolves defender, probably one Newcastle defender.
Yeah, I think 8 Nuri is just, everyone's going to have him, so...
And he's going to get a 1 or 2 pointer.
Yeah, I think I think Wolves will concede, to be honest, but I can't not have him. And then Livramento, if Cher's back and he's okay, I might consider Cher, but Livramento's also very attacking, and we've seen today that Ipswich concede a lot of goals. So Newcastle defence are definitely, they need to be there. But yeah, Livramento's there for now. I do like Livramento a lot. I think he's really good player.
So in terms of if you were to bring a defender in that isn't in right now, Cucurella is obviously the first one on the bench for you. Is he the most likely to make his way in?
Out of those 3?
In terms of if you were to remove any of those 3 defenders, Sessegnon, 8 Nuri, Livramento, who would potentially come in instead? Would Cucurella be next in line for you?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I guess that's why he's there.
Do you see yourself changing those 3? You seem pretty set on Sessegnon, and then 8 Nuri and a Newcastle defender feels quite obvious.
Honestly, no. I considered like Pope and Sanchez, but I think especially against Ipswich, the Liverpool defenders are more likely to get in an attack compared to Cucurella.
The Newcastle defenders, yeah.
Oh, sorry. What did I say?
Liverpool.
Oh,
I do this
sorry.
but I do this all the time in a video, but you don't realise you've said
I
it.
said Liverpool.
You
That's
don't
so
realise
random.
you might not have. Imagine if I've just gaslighted you into saying I think you might have. Anyway, but you were looking at Pope and Cucurella rather than Sanchez and Livramento.
Yeah.
So basically, Newcastle keeper and Cucurella.
Yeah.
I quite like that. Like, Cucurella is arguably as attacking as Livramento. Pope's no worse than Sanchez, and they're probably a lower-owned combination, Pope and Cucurella.
True. My thought process is that Everton's got a better defence, but at the same time, Tarkowski's gone off injured. He's done his hamstring, hasn't he? So it will make their defence weaker. So it is... Yeah, it's tough decisions. But if Everton's defence hadn't been broken up a little bit by that, Cucurella would 100% be on the bench. But it's something that I could consider. But I think I'll keep it like this for now. I'm happy with Livramento being there.
Perfect. Cool. That's the defence. Let's look at the midfield. So moving on to the midfield, you're playing a 3-4-3 at the moment, so 4 midfielders. I actually don't want to start with your 4 midfielders. I want to start with the 2 that are missing in your starting 11, Brian Mbeumo and Cole Palmer. Let's go Cole Palmer. We'll just leave that in. This is what happens when I'm trying to record a video. So Cole Palmer, not in there.
Yeah.
I will tell the audience that Cole Palmer was there this morning, but you were already very unsure. Like, you've not been impressed with Cole Palmer, as most of us haven't been.
No.
And that Chelsea performance and that Cole Palmer performance was enough for you to remove him?
Oh, I think just inevitably you're going to be afraid of him, but I don't know how much longer you can be afraid of him, because I don't know how many weeks now. He's just really not produced much.
Yeah, let's look at actually his returns have been bad. Like, so I'm reading out his points from 33 backwards. So 2, 4, 1, 6, 0, 1, 3, 2, 2, 6, 2, 2. The last time he got double digits was game week 21. In that time, he's got 2 assists. He's not scored since game.
No.
It's worse than I
It's
thought.
90
Three assists since game week 21.
90
That's it.
something days. I think it's 96. Could be wrong. Yeah.
He is getting to that stage, and I say this as I do have Cole Palmer in my draft, but he's getting to that stage where, do you remember there was that point when Erling Haaland was still playing every minute, and it was just like, I don't even care that he's playing anymore, because the ownership drops, the fear drops because they're not returning. You're starting to get to that stage with Palmer. I don't fear him when he's playing now, which is incredible, because Cole Palmer used to be one of those players that I feared most. The aura associated with him.
He can get like 23 pointers. It's scary.
So are we picking him because of that aura and because of that fear and just knowing what he can do, or are we picking him because of the ceiling that he still has? Like, this is the discussion point, isn't it?
I personally think it's because of what you first said, because Everton at home's not. It being at home's good, but Everton's just not an easy fixture in my eyes. I don't know. You might feel differently, but to me, I don't think it's that easy for an attacker at the moment. And yeah, he's just not been playing very well. His confidence is low. But yeah, I'll be honest, I did have him in this morning, but I did say if he doesn't do anything again today, I'm probably going to take him out. So I have for now, and we'll talk a little bit about who I've taken him out for.
Especially a dysfunctional Chelsea team. I think Everton can be broken down by well-coached teams, and I'm not saying Maresca hasn't, but like teams that just function very effectively as a unit. Chelsea aren't that at the moment.
No.
And so I feel like Chelsea, that, like this game, it would not surprise me if Chelsea-Everton was 0-0. That it's got 0-0 or 1-0 to one of the two teams written all over it,
I agree.
which probably means it'll be like a 4-4 thriller. But I definitely look at Everton defence and think I don't hate it, which tells me that I probably shouldn't have Cole Palmer. Let us know in the comments if you've got Cole Palmer in your team. He's still in my draft, but I don't hate the fact that you've taken him out. Cool. Brian Mbeumo on your bench? Is that just because, again, you back Forest and you think that he's probably not going to massively haul?
A little bit. And to be honest, I feel like for me it'll be a little bit knee-jerky if I put him in. Only because I just didn't think he'd really do anything in this fixture in the first place. I don't know. I just feel like it'd be a very Mbeumo thing to do, to get an 18-pointer and then to blank right after when everyone brings him in for the free hit. I'm not feeling it. And this is me going with my gut right now, like I do. I'm not feeling it much, so that's what... I mean, I could change my mind. I could have a serious FOMO and be like, no, I'm going to put him in. But at the moment, I'm not that sure and I'm not that convinced. So yeah, that's why he's on the bench.
Someone said after he hauls every time he blanks, and I looked, 14-pointer against Southampton, blank. 15-pointer against Ipswich, blank. 13-pointer against Newcastle, then a 9. But then 19 against Southampton, blank. 14 against Leicester, follows that up with a single assist and no bonus. I don't think I wouldn't buy into that narrative too much, but all of that to say, he's obviously not going to get an 18-pointer every week. And actually, if you look at, again, lots of data I know, but if you look at his XGI in that game, I think he had 0.6 XG. 2 brilliant finishes, and we know that Mbeumo has really improved his finishing. I do think Mbeumo has a good chance of returning in this game, but I don't think he's got a particularly high ceiling. I think you're probably looking at more like 5 to 10 points, which is still good enough to include him, but I also don't think you should fear him too much if you were going without. Cool.
Yeah. I love Mbeumo, by the way. I think he's amazing. But yeah, I'm not feeling it. That's all I can say.
So Salah cap.
Yeah.
Obvious?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you could go for someone like Cunha or Strand Larsen maybe, if you were wanting to attack a little bit. But,
Could you go without Salah?
oh no.
It's 9 games now without an open play goal.
I know, but Salah's just another level. I cannot.
It does feel like with like Haaland and Palmer though. Like, how many more games does Salah have to go now without doing much for us to then say?
Yeah. It is a shame to see him out of form, but Tottenham have really been bad lately defensively. They're really bad.
He missed
So
3 big
sorry.
chances today, didn't he, as well, Salah? So
He did. Wasn't it 1.6 XGI?
he had quite a high XGI, yeah.
Insane. So yeah, I'm not gonna go without him. Absolutely not. And I'm probably gonna captain him because I'll be honest. In terms of captaincy, I'm quite boring and quite conservative. I go with either what a lot of people are doing or what the safest option is. Every now and then I might go a little bit rogue, but
All of the best managers I've ever spoken to do the same. Like, if you speak to Praz, Harry, Ben Crellin, like all of the best managers that consistently finish well, they're boring with captaincy. And I don't even think you should use the word boring. I think it's just intelligence. Like, it's just captaining the best player each week and not trying to get funny with it. Because in a single season, it can go super well. You could captain someone different every week, and in that season, it could hit hard. But the opposite can happen. It's like picking your battles in FPL. And I don't know that going against Salah captain against one of the worst teams in the league is probably the best idea.
yeah.
And there aren't any really viable alternatives, I don't think, at the moment.
No, I don't think so.
Cool. Right, you've doubled up with Luis Diaz. This seems to be quite a popular one. It's almost putting me off that so many people seem to be on him.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I'm unsure, but I think attacking that fixture is important, and as you can see, I'm not going there defensively, and I'm not picking a Van Dijk or a Konate or Bradley or anything like that, or even a Trent. I don't want to risk it, as much as Trent is enticing. But anyway, yeah.
Do you buy into narratives? Like, do you like a cheeky storyline? Because
Depends.
they can win the league against Spurs at home.
Oh, they can't they? I think they will want to go big this game, to be honest.
This is the league winning game. This is the game. Spurs at home, in front of the home crowd.
Yeah.
A big game as well, you would say, even though Spurs aren't particularly good this season. And Spurs are going to be rotating heavily because of the Europa League. So you're going to have a rotated Spurs, a game where they can win the league.
Yeah.
It could be a bloodbath. It really could. So, yeah,
And it's at Anfield. It's going to be huge.
exactly. The only concern is we thought Jota would start today and Jota didn't. Gakpo then came off pre-60. And something which I've said about Slot, and go look at his substitutions, he loves a pre-60 sub. Diaz has been playing so many minutes, so I do expect him to start. But would I be surprised if he's the one that gets the pre-60 sub at some point? Maybe not. So that's the only thing that puts me off slightly. Also, I love penalty takers and I love set piece takers, so that would be the only thing on Diaz. But
Yeah, no, I agree.
I do think you want another Liverpool attacker, but maybe keep an eye on Diogo Jota.
Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely.
Harvey Barnes.
So this is the player that I replaced Palmer with. I feel like most people are going to go triple Newcastle in some way or another, and I think that Barnes he's been doing so well lately. Although I am a little bit concerned with Gordon coming back. We have seen that Murphy's been coming off for Gordon,
Yeah.
and Barnes has been moving to the right hand side, but. I don't know. He's just been so good lately. I feel like he's still going to start, and it's not Eddie Howe at the moment. He's ill, isn't he? So the assistant manager,
Tyndall, yeah.
he's been suggesting that the 11's not really going to change. I feel like that's what he said.
Yeah, I generally do believe that they stick quite. Newcastle tend to stick with the same starting 11 and the same players that they trust in. And Barnes' minutes have been much better than Murphy's. Like, he's got 78, 90, 90, 90, 90, 75. And as you say, like, Murphy's been the one that's been coming off. And, yeah, I think they've been pushing Barnes out to the right, Gordon on the left. And Murphy's minutes in that time is 65, 71, 77, 61, 64.
It's a difficult one because Murphy's been doing insanely well as well. Like, we've been getting all those points, but
Exactly. Murphy's been brilliant. And he started every single league game since game week 13 was the last time he was benched. So there is nothing to suggest Murphy's going to be benched.
yeah.
But they were on a really nice run. They got absolutely battered by Villa. Might we see a bit of a change-up where Gordon comes into the starting 11? Maybe not. My issue is, let's say that we fully believe Murphy and Barnes will start again and that Gordon will not start. How can you promise me that it isn't Barnes or Murphy that comes off in the 60th? If you told me I get 60 minutes of Barnes or Murphy, I'd rather 90 minutes of Mbermo.
Fair.
As much as like the fixture isn't as good, I'd rather if you give me a 90-minute penalty taker that's just at 200 points versus Barnes or Murphy that might get 60, I think I'd prefer Mbermo, but maybe that's just
Fair.
me worrying too much about minutes.
No, I get that, honestly. I'm just attacking a fixture, really. But
Yeah,
I
no.
100% understand it, especially when I've already got a couple of risks going on.
But Barnes' data has been exceptionally strong. It's not just the output, it's also the underlying numbers as well. So I think if you can call Barnes or Murphy, and if you're confident Barnes is the one that will stay on, if you're confident that Murphy's the one that will get good minutes, or you think Gordon might get a start, great, pick them. If we get an injury to one of them this week, which I hope isn't the case, I think that changes it all.
Yeah,
I think at that
absolutely.
stage you can pick either of the ones that aren't injured. But with all three of them fit, it does worry me.
Gonna have to keep an eye on news, I think, with this one.
Cool. Justin Kluivert? Playing against one of the better teams in the Premier League, though, isn't he?
Ooh, I just love Cliver. I mean, I wanted him for my bench boost, and I was so annoyed about that, honestly. You have no idea. But anyway, Man United stink. I'm really sorry, but they do. And he's a penalty taker that should play 90 minutes if he's fit. So, I like Cliver. I'm going to have him in my team.
He got 90, which we were surprised about.
I was surprised about
the
that,
thing
to
is,
be
he
honest.
does get good minutes, but he doesn't always get 90. And the fact that he missed 3 games in a row, I thought he'd get like 50, 60 minutes and we'd be deciding whether it's worth taking the risk. But he went and got 90. He didn't have a single shot against Palace. Bournemouth have been rubbish. So Bournemouth have only won 1 game since game week 26. They've lost games in that time to Wolves, Brighton, Brentford and Ipswich. The only game they won was against Fulham, 1-0. They drew with West Ham and Spurs in that time. Like, that was a great run of fixtures for Bournemouth.
Yeah.
And as bad as Man United are, Bournemouth aren't playing much better at the moment. So
They aren't.
there is a bit of concern there. But, I mean, I've got Kluivert in. Again, penalties, set pieces, minutes. I understand it. I think if you can get Even Ilson in instead of Kluivert,
I did think
an
about
option.
it, but the forward that I have, that's not the two that everyone else is thinking about. I just really want him.
Yeah.
I've just got a good feeling about him. So.
Cool. So that's your midfield 4. In terms of players that are likely to get in, obviously Mbermo is sat there as well. We spoke about Cole Palmer. Is there anyone else that's really tempting you right now? Or are you feeling relatively set as it stands?
Actually, Bowen's. Sorry, I don't know. I keep tapping the table. I keep tapping the table.
Against Brighton, right?
Bowen, yeah. A lot of people are not interested, and it's not just because he returned last week. He's not one to haul much. He'll get a goal, maybe a goal and an assist sometimes, but Brighton haven't been great, honestly, recently. And I don't know, it's a way, but it's one that I would consider. I wouldn't completely rule him out. So that's one that I thought about and I've had in my drafts a couple of times.
I like Jarrett Bowen. No time for your man Menetzi that you had for a little bit.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
No, probably me neither. Right, I think the midfield fell. I think a lot of us have double Liverpool, Kluivert and Mbermo, Newcastle midfielders, maybe a Cole Palmer. There aren't tons of options in midfield. Maybe like an Iwobi, I guess you could give a little shout to.
Yeah, Iwobi, to be fair.
If you want to attack the fixtures when he
His
scored
data's
today.
bad, though.
It's bad.
Yeah.
In terms of goal threat, at least. He's very creative, but
Yeah.
you can tell if he listens to me too often. He's got bad data, Iwobi. You've just listened to me say that on repeat, haven't you?
Probably.
Right, cool. Right, that's the midfield. Let's look at the forwards. So, moving on to the 3 forwards, we have Isak, Strand Larsen, and Welbeck. Looks very different, or at least a little bit different, to the free hit drafts that I've seen going around. We'll start with Isak. Is there any temptation to go without? Like, along with Salah, Isak and Salah have been quietly stinking it up. Like, Isak's data's dropped off a cliff. Salah's data's dropped off a cliff. Is it just like, don't try and be too clever?
No, I just can't. I feel like this draft is risky enough as it is.
Yeah, there's a few risks. You don't need to, especially at 1.5k, you really don't need to destroy your season.
Isak's a baller. He's just a baller. I would never go without him, especially with a fixture like this.
That's fair enough. Right, nice and easy. Let's go Strand Larsen. So we've obviously been chatting about this pretty much all day. So you've been going back and forth between Strand Larsen and Cunha. So Cunha started in game week 33 for the first time. Where do you currently stand on Strand Larsen and Cunha? Because obviously lots of people are just automatically putting Cunha in.
If I knew that Cunha was going to start, I would 100% go for Cunha because he's on penalties and he's on set pieces, right?
Yes, takes quite a lot of in-swinging set pieces, yeah.
So 100% I would go Cunha, but Bellegarde's out at the moment. We don't know when he's going to come back. But I've seen a lot of Wolves fans say that they were really missing Bellegarde today and that Cunha just wasn't the one. And I feel like Cunha only started because Bellegarde wasn't there. And so I do worry that if we know that Bellegarde's going to be back for game week 34, I do worry that Cunha's going to be on the bench. So that's why I've got Strand Larsen. I also noticed that Strand Larsen doesn't play very well when Cunha's on the pitch. I don't know whether it's just a coincidence, but I feel like he's a bit deeper, and I don't know. He just doesn't play as well, but he seems quite effective when Cunha's not there. So
I feel like he's taken the talisman role in the absence of Cunha. Like, he's the one that they seem to look towards. Whereas when Cunha steps on the pitch, he's got that aura about him, and he demands the ball. So maybe there's a bit of that. But yeah, Strand Larsen's been great. Yeah, so I think essentially they've got 3 spots. Strand Larsen's the striker, and he'll start no matter what, probably. And then they've got 2 positions. Manetzi plays pretty much every minute. He's been really, really good. And Vitor Pereira actually spoke about Strand Larsen has been better because of how good Manetzi's been. So I think Manetzi seems relatively now, which means you've got one position for Bellegarde or Cunha. And as brilliant as Cunha is, Wolves can't get relegated now, really. They can't really go much higher up the table, and if so, there's no real need to do so. Cunha has said he's leaving, and they've got a release clause on Cunha, so it's not like they can get more money for Cunha, most likely, if he plays really well at the back end of the season. Everyone knows how good Cunha is. Like, he's going to have people wanting to buy him anyway. There's just no real value massively to playing Cunha, and Bellegarde has been one of their better players. So yeah, I think if Bellegarde is fit, there is a genuine chance that he starts with Manetzi and Strand Larsen. So that is something to keep an eye on. Obviously, there is going to be no way to know that. So if we know Bellegarde's fit, I'm not saying don't go for Cunha. Like, he could very well start. It could be Manetzi or Strand Larsen that drops out, even if Bellegarde does start. But there is enough worry, and I think Strand Larsen will start. Like, he's the future for them. Cunha's not. I quite like it. Strand Larsen's data's been outstanding. He's had over 1.4 XGI in like 2 consecutive games before game week 33. So, yeah, I like him a lot. I've got no major issues with it.
Yeah, and like, well, if you know me and you've seen my team in the past, or you've seen us, we love Cunha.
Yeah.
He's been amazing for us to start the season. We brought him in when no one else had him, and he did so well for us. Like, he was incredible. So I love Cunha, but I think just with the current situation, I'm not too sure. But if we do find out that Bellegarde's not fit for this game, I will put Cunha in instead.
Perfect. And then the final one, I will allow you to be a little bit upset because you put him in your draft like literally on Saturday straight after it, when like you could start tinkering with your free hit teams. Pickle put Welbeck in. And then I started to see Welbeck sneak into more and more drafts. Lots of models started liking Welbeck too. And then you feel like he's no longer a differential. But Welbeck's your boy.
Yeah.
He is.
I love Welbeck. I had him at the start of the season, and he didn't... Well, I had him as a differential, and he did okay, but not amazing. But
You sold him just before he went on a run of scoring goals.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I love Welbs. And yeah, João Pedro's out. Got a red card, so he's going to start. He's going to be on penalties. I just think it's a good game for them as well. I know that they've not been doing as well lately, but I just have a good feeling. It's the gut feeling coming out again. I just have a feeling about him. I know it sounds really wishy-washy the way I think about things, but sometimes you just have to go with your gut.
I don't think it's wishy-washy. I think you just don't overthink it.
Yeah,
like
sometimes.
you're saying what I say, but just more simple. On penalties, good minutes, good fixture.
Yeah.
It doesn't really need more than that necessarily. But yeah, with João Pedro out suspended, he should be on pens. His minutes tend to be pretty good anyway. But again, with no João Pedro, if they want to take off one player, like João Pedro would normally stay on, so it's one less player that might get like closer to 90 mins. And West Ham have quietly been one of the worst teams in the league this season. I mean, they're really not far off relegation.
Yeah.
Like if not for the 3 teams being so bad that came up this year, West Ham could be right down. And they improved slightly under Potter, and then they dropped off a cliff again. In terms of fixtures, and another home fixture as well, do you know what I've just noticed? You've got 10 out of your 11 players are playing at home. Ooh. And you do like home games.
I do like home games. Oh, true. It does look nice, doesn't it?
In terms of other forwards, Chris Wood, Raul Jimenez, who's the one that
Chris Wood. I mean, Chris Wood was originally the one that I put in straight away. He's not been doing great, though, since he's come back.
He's not scored in like 2 months, I think.
He was the inevitable man. We didn't have him for so long, and we were really being stubborn about it, and then we finally got him, and he was doing great for us. But so I do worry a little bit about that. But I think Welbeck's a nice pick, so I think I'm going to stick with it.
Raul Jimenez is tempting, because Moniz was out injured.
I just don't trust him. I don't know why. It's Southampton, though.
Yeah, I mean, if Moniz is out, we don't know he's out, definitely, but he obviously wasn't in the squad for game week 33. If Moniz isn't going to be in the squad again, his minutes should be really good. And it is Southampton, and he is on penalties, and he is a good finisher. Raul Jimenez could definitely tempt me. I just don't like targeting Southampton. Southampton always let me down when I try and target them.
No, there's something about them. They always like do a lot better than you think they're gonna do.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe that's why I've only got one Fulham player in. It does feel kind of bad not having more than that. But
Yeah, so when I looked at this, I thought the only thing you could potentially note is you've got one Fulham and only 2 Wolves playing against the 2 worst teams in the league.
I'm not
right?
having triple Wolves.
Well, no, but then what I then thought is, so you've then got double Liverpool against Spurs, who are arguably almost as bad as the promoted teams. Clive against United, who's arguably just as bad. Welbeck against West Ham. West Ham are arguably just as bad. And then Everton just aren't a particularly good attack. So if you actually look at the Premier League table, targeting Leicester, Ipswich, Spurs, United and West Ham, it feels pretty good. 10 playing at home. I don't see any major flaws in this team.
I think there's just like risks, especially in the midfield, and I'll have to consider it more, especially, but we've got time to think about it. And obviously in Burmo, he's going to be scaring me a little bit now, especially after an 18-pointer. I'm sure if he blanked, I wouldn't even care, but obviously that's going to be inevitably in the back of your mind, but I'm going to try and not let it affect me too much and just stick with what I was thinking. So
Perfect. Let us know what you would rate Pickle's draft out of 10. Down below in the comments. Please be kind as well. Let us know what you would change, what you don't like, what you do like, and also let us know what your latest draft looks like as well.
yeah, I'd love to see them.
So guys, there you have it. That is Pickle's Gameweek 34 free hit team. I'm not forcing her to do the outro as well because it would take the next 6 hours to get that done. But if you did enjoy the video, please do hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you want to see Pickle come back on again in the future, let us know down below. She is very shy. It took 18 months for me to convince her to come on to do a video. So please be kind. Let us know if you want to see her in the future. Let us know if you want her to start her own YouTube channel as well. I'm sure she'll be back on soon. I'm sure she'll come on FPL Therapy soon as well. But until next time, thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.